Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of Building LeGrand podcast. Who would have thought Brian Axelrod and I will be doing a podcast? But obviously, we'll be covering an array of topics, mainly LeGrand bourbon, but we'll be doing LeGrand everything. So here we are today, and I want to welcome my partner, my friend, my brother, Brian Axelrod.
This is wild. We've always talked about it's going to be weird because we do talk 24 hours a day. So we talk every day. A lot. So for us to just come on here and bullshit, it's gonna be weird.
Well, people need to hear it, man, because we got a lot of shit to say. Let's just say that.
Yeah, we've always played around with the idea of how do we explain the story and give a little peek behind the curtains of what we do. And we played with trying to get GoPros, put it in the van. We got the GoPros, we just didn't know how to use them.
And I don't know if that would have been bumped, especially the way you drive me around in that van.
Jesus Christ.
You'll be the GoPro will be off the thing in a second.
Listen, you're a big backseat driver. We'll get into that another time. But I think let's go into why the podcast, why do we give peek behind the curtains, and then we'll get into the whole how we even got here to your name being on the bottle of the bourbon.
Well, obviously we know podcast is changing the game. Everything is digital. People want to see, more than they are, listening to, whether if it's or reading, I should say, newspapers and articles. People want to see what's going on. And we talk, as you mentioned, all the time. And we're building stories upon stories upon stories every time we go out to an event, whether if it's a tasting, whether if it's at a restaurant or a bar. We're just creating memories, and we feel like we need to share some of this with the world.
And look, it's all not always pretty too, because look, just before here, I got a flat tire, so I had to go draw my car off at Mavis, get an Uber over here. So there's always little bumps in the road, but it's people don't see that unless we tell the story. They just think they're hey, you show up at this event, everyone's all smiling, it's all good. But for the most part, it's fun. We're having a good time. We're building this thing. But there are some things that hey, let's share it.
No, definitely. There's times where we're sitting here all right, do we need to really put a lot of this effort into going to this place or that place? Because you get to talk about the process of picking me up. You live in Hoboken. I live in Woodbridge. You have to drive down from Hoboken through all the traffic, pick me up, and then head into one destination or the other. And we have to make sure that our time is worth it. And I know most of the time Brian's yelling at me because I'll set up something and be like, is it really worth going there? And then me, I'm the nice guy.
Nah, you're a man of the people. You just
I am. I'm the man of the people. I want to be out there promoting the brand, but then I also got to think business-wise. We got to make this make sense now.
For sure. And as it grows, there's other customers and there's people that are doing stuff, and it's hard to get everywhere. So we got to figure out now, pick and choose our battles. But let's take it back and go to yourself, a little bit of your story, because there are probably some people that might not know your story, and then we'll connect on how we got connected. But start with your story, and then we'll get into how that translated into bourbon.
Yeah, being a former Rutgers football player, obviously having the spinal cord injury, everything changed my life. But I love to go back to my time at Rutgers and the connections that I made there, playing there for 2.5 years. And it wasn't always just about football. I would say, let's just say 98% was about football. There was that 2% that I was able to be out and about and develop relationships throughout the Rutgers community. And as I've seen that take off now into not only my business, but to support everywhere I go around the Rutgers community has been huge. But once my injury happened, I didn't know where my life was going to take me. But you rewind all the way back to 2012, and then I start launching my motivational speaking career. I'm writing a book when I thought I had a book, starting a foundation, Team LeGrand of the Christopher and Dana Reed Foundation. I was at the highest of highs, but then how do you keep that momentum going and keep on growing that? And that's when I've been able to figure that out over the past, now 13 years since we're in 2025, but obviously starting new brands and whatnot. But it's been quite the journey since, and there's the good, the bad, and the ugly with this spinal cord injury, man. And keep it real with everyone. It's not always pleasant most of the time. It sucks.
Yeah, and I always tell you, people see you. That's why we always try to get away from just throwing up pictures, because people always see you smiling, out and about, and having a good time in the chair. Some people, there's people, we've been at events, and the common thing is always to shake your hand. Obviously, that's just a natural reaction. But some people's hey, can Eric hold the bottle? I'm like, no, I mean, this is, but it's they don't understand, until they see you or hear you, they just see you smiling in pictures and sit in the chair. They don't realize really what you're going through. So hopefully, I always say, we have to, it's some stuff is uncomfortable, some's a little weird, but it's also you got to share it, because you're always too smiling and always too happy. It'll be which is great, but it's also hey, there's education to it.
No, there's a huge education part to it, especially our trip when we went out to Kentucky to get to visit the distillery at Bardstown. And people don't know, I had sleep apnea a lot of times after a spinal cord injury, I believe 80% of the population develops sleep apnea. And it's, it affects your lungs and how you breathe and how you sleep and all of that. And I went on for years without,
Yeah.
going to a doctor and getting it checked out. But now my machine I have at home, I put on my mask at night, I sleep perfectly. But when I travel, I have a smaller machine that doesn't work as well. And I'll tell you what, most of the time when we're out for those 2-3 days, I probably get 3 hours of sleep. It's just uninterrupted sleep that people don't realize that I got to get up and go, be my best that next day. But most of the night it's just tossing and turning because I literally can't breathe. It's hard to be able to breathe through the mask that I'm traveling with. So people don't get to
it's
see
crazy.
that
Like,
stuff.
look, I've known you for 10 years and I'm still learning on almost a daily basis of some of the things you do, how you do it and all that. Like in the beginning, I'm like, how the fuck does he text me so fast? He's always responding, and people ask you that all the time.
If you don't get a response back from me right away, it means I'm out and about on my phone. If I'm home, like we're in my house right now, and I have my cell phone hooked up, I don't have it obviously hooked up right now. I mean, it dings right in front of my face, so that's how fast I usually get back to people.
So let's tell people how kind of we met, because it was in this room.
It was.
I was working on a brand called Prove People Wrong. You're the ultimate prove people wrong story. You've been told you were never going to walk again, never eat without a feeding tube, breathe without a breathing tube. So I came to you just through Twitter, like, hey, you want to rock some merch?
I know, yeah. For all you people out there, Brian slid in my DMs.
Yeah,
he did. He reached
the Twitter DMs.
The Twitter DMs. He reached out to me about this company. He just mentioned Prove People Wrong, and it was at that time it was apparel, so T-shirts and hats and whatnot. And he said, "I think we can create one."
It's trademark, by the way, so don't get any.
It is trademark. Yes, it is, and you got the trademark. So it was him saying, "We want to put this on a T-shirt with Rutgers colors, and we want to be able to raise money for the foundation." And we were able to, I forgot how many we printed out, but people were buying them. They really enjoyed that concept of Prove People Wrong with my name on it, and like the Rutgers colors, and then we even put that into a hat and whatnot. And people started to really get that concept, Prove People Wrong, and then obviously we had the money going back to the foundation, so people knew it was.
But we filmed right in this.
We took that picture. I know we got to throw up that picture. Jared, I'll send you our picture. Jared's our editor.
Yeah. That picture, almost 10 years ago. Was it like 10 years ago, a few months ago?
Yeah, so you guys get to see our younger versions of ourselves, but that's how it started. So this was a friendship before we developed, obviously, our bourbon, but Brian's been supporting me for years upon years of all my different events. The evening with LeGrand that we ran for 10 years from my foundation, a walk to believe, which we're coming up on 15 years. So
crazy.
It's been, Brian and I, we've been friends for a while now, a decade.
So now walk everyone through your process. We'll bring the coffee shop into it, but like COVID and where you got the idea for starting your own businesses.
Yeah, there was a lot of time spent in this very room that we're sitting in right now during COVID. And
explain to people too, because the COVID thing is for you it hit everyone different ways, but for you is like extremely scary.
It's very scary because I've been hospitalized with pneumonia 4 times since my injury has happened. So with my level of injury, my lung deficiency, it's there. It's like I don't have a full capacity lung because I'm not up and about moving around. And if you don't use it, you lose it. And for me, breathing, just like a normal able-bodied person, it's not the same. So when COVID came around, obviously that attacks the lungs. I had to be extra careful when it came to that because I'm like, what am I gonna do now if I catch this? God forbid. Then, at that time we didn't know what the hell was going on with it. Do you die and all the stuff that was going on? So I was in this house for like 6 months without going anywhere outside besides my backyard, and I was just trying to come up with ideas to keep myself entertained because I watched so much TV. I got tired of it, so I started listening to audiobooks. And the one that really inspired me to start a business was Shoe Dog from Nike. I was born in 1990. When I was growing up, Nike was Nike.
Yeah.
I had no idea that Puma and Adidas were running the game before Nike was even created. And then all the lawsuits and creating what Phil Knight went through, made in his garage with just like with running track shoes. And then I'm like, he built that brand into what it is today, creating the swoosh on the fly. Like, it was insane to me. I was so intrigued and made me just say, you know what? I'm going to start my own shit. Like,
there you go.
Like this guy was able to do it in a garage with some machine where he's making this waffle machine making shoes. I'm like, I'm going to start my own brands. And that led me into a few different ones.
So it all came to fruition kind of in this room, the room we're sitting in. Over there on the other side of the wall, they can't see is your bedroom where you sleep. And, we were joking about it before. It's like 90 degrees in here. But it's all right. You like your heat.
It's part of the injury. So pre-injury me, I'm 60 degrees. I'm walking around the house, boxers on, If you're lucky if I'm wearing a tank top,
yeah,
you're getting all of me.
That doesn't surprise me.
That's me. That was me pre-injury. Now with the injury, obviously my central nervous system has been affected, so I can't regulate my temperature. So it's two extremes. Most of the time I'm very cold. It's hard for me to heat up in the wintertime. I'm sitting in front of my heater for 6, 7, 8 hours at a time just to warm up and be able to regulate, even though my room is at 80 degrees. But also vice versa. In the summertime, I don't sweat anymore. Only my back really sweats. So I can't release that heat and sweat like when your body does. So I can cook like a turkey. So I don't sit outside long either. So it's that happy medium where I go outside in the summertime for about 2, 3 hours. Then I got to come sit in the AC. In the wintertime, I don't go outside at all.
We all know cold is not your friend.
Cold is not my friend. I'll take 80 degrees outside any day over 30 outside. So that's just what my spinal cord injury, and it's what I have to live with every single second of the day.
So you thought that coffee shop came first?
The coffee shop did come first because I knew my downtown area, Woodbridge, was up and coming. Like the mayor's been putting up apartment buildings. Obviously, the local people are like, oh, so much traffic is going on. But to me, I'm like, that's opportunity. I'm seeing all new faces that are coming into the town of Woodbridge and building it up, which you need to do. You can't stay stagnant as a township. Yeah. You got to be able to grow. And I said to myself, well, what can I do for this town? And I'm like, you know what? People love coffee. They love to drink it. I don't know a damn thing about it, but I know people love to drink it.
So let's open a coffee shop.
And let me open a coffee shop. I was literally on my balcony, which is right outside of here, where I was texting my group of friends from my hometown that you guys will all hear about.
We'll hear about them. They're not big bourbon drinkers, but they're very supportive.
They are supportive. They'll have 1 or 2, and then after that, they know that's trouble. After that.
I get a couple of pictures of the bourbon, and then all of a sudden it shifts to beer. But
it is.
We'll get to that another time. But yeah, so coffee shop.
Coffee shop. Yeah. So I was on my balcony, and I texted my group of friends like, "What do you think if I opened up a coffee shop in our hometown?" And they were like, "Yeah, I think that would be a great idea, and this and that." And I'm like, "You think you can get the mayor to do it?" I'm like, Mayor Mack. Every time I call him up, he just always says yes. So I call him.
Most people don't say no to you.
Most people. Some do.
Well, you're learning in the liquor business now.
Oh, liquor business, they can kiss my ass.
But the percentage changed in the liquor business.
It sure has. I know, made me feel like, damn, I'm like, I still got it. But yeah, so I just, like I said, with a group message with friends, talked to the mayor, and then I just hired a business advisor that I found on Google and literally just dove into it. Had to learn about the coffee business. Made my mistakes in the beginning with my online store, hiring the wrong roaster. Stressing at night, getting the gray hairs that I got right now.
That's part of the business, though. You go through, but you just got to figure out. It's
3 years in now. We're 3 years into the coffee business. I had the online store going since 2021, so it's actually 4 years old. And the brick and mortar opened up May 14th of 2020.
So for about 2 years, people would come up to you or they see you, and you're at the Rutgers games. You're around town, like, hey, the coffee shop. I've been to the coffee shop. I got to go to the coffee shop. I haven't been there yet. All that stuff. But that kind of switched.
Now I'm the bourbon guy.
You had another idea. Now walk everyone through this. How did you come with this idea?
This idea came about was I was sitting in this room as well, because you and I started the conversations back in late 2020, I believe, or 2021. Like that's when the conversation started, when I literally called you up from this room and I told you the idea I had, and you were like, let me sleep on this. And then you came back to me the next day. You're like, you know what? We got something here. Your story's genuine. It's not going anywhere. You have the foundation that we can really give back money to put our efforts toward this. So we're a purpose-driven business. Let's do this. And I remember sitting there coming up with the concept. Okay, I don't know nothing about this business, but I know you did. So I said, what's next? So you want to tell us how I guess that process was in your head on how I came to you, what you were thinking?
Yeah, well, I've been doing this for 25 years. And at that time, we were done with Proper 12. So I was moving on, and I was like, all right, what do I do in my life? I'm like, you know what? Let's start some own brands. Started one. I had one that was just getting off the ground, and then you hit me up, and I'm like, we always wanted to do stuff together. Mm-hmm. So always trying to figure out ways we can work together. And this was like, okay, if we can do something in the liquor space, put your name on it, which wasn't your idea in the beginning, and then tell your story through a bottle of bourbon. Mm-hmm. My idea was always to like, how do we tell more people, introduce more people to you and your story? Because everyone times people meet you, they're inspired, all that good stuff. And I'm like, the best thing I know is through alcohol. Bourbon, we'll get into in a sec why bourbon, but I'm like, all right, let's do something, let's figure it out. And then, we knew we'll get support from the friends, and then the Rutgers community beyond. But we're like, how do we build this into a brand, which is building LeGrand, which is kind of what we're doing now.
You actually had a funny idea with that.
Yeah, but
it was the day after I launched the coffee shop. It's actually a genius marketing plan. I think you said Conor McGregor did it before, and maybe I think The Rock did it too, Dwayne Johnson. So, a funny story for you guys. The day after I launched LeGrand Coffee House on May 14th of 2022, Brian had me take a picture the week before with a bunch of whiskey samples in front of me. It wasn't our stuff. And we'll get into that because we didn't have the juice even.
Yeah, we didn't have the juice. That was probably stuff from my cabinet. I ordered the bottles from Amazon, labeled them A, B, C, D, whatever, and then just grabbed different colored brown liquids from my liquor cabinet and started filling them up.
And you came down to my house. We were in my kitchen and we took a picture with a bunch of sample bottles of whiskey in front of me with my face behind me looking like, and literally I think my post was, "What's next?"
Yeah.
And right after that, people were like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, people were going crazy.
He went from coffee to now jumping into.
Yeah, people were like, "Oh, we can combine the bourbon with the coffee." But I think down the road we did sample actual product. That was just more to like behind the scenes to gauge interest on whether it be is it a good idea. Investors also try to at that time like who's our liquid partner, all that stuff, and it worked, which we'll probably get more into. But yeah, that was a little teaser to like say, hey, let's see if this thing's gonna got some
definitely
legs.
Did work because it worked into
we're here.
Friends reaching out to as investors and also almost our distributing partner, which obviously we're not with, but they also reached out as well.
Yeah, we created some buzz. So tell people like why you tell the story the best. So why bourbon?
Yeah, the reason why we chose the bourbon category is I got into my 30s. I'm about to be 35. I started trying different bourbons. In my young 20s, I was ripping shots of Jack like everyone else, drinking J-Mo, doing all that stuff, the Jaeger bombs, things like that you do in your young 20s. But we didn't have, these kids aren't doing the same thing nowadays. We won't get into that too. These kids are different.
Nah, they're built different.
When I was growing up in the 20s, that's what we did. Then you get to like 25 and you go to tequila. Now I'm doing shots of Patron and all that stuff, going to the clubs, partying, this and that. This is my life. Yes, because I'm in a wheelchair doesn't mean I wasn't in the clubs, traveling to Miami, Vegas, LA, doing all the crazy stuff and drinking tequila. And like I said, I hit my 30s and I tried Blanton's, tried Makers. I'm like, this stuff is actually pretty good. Felt like I was getting older that I could actually enjoy.
Well, you're a sophisticated palate.
Yeah, drink a glass of bourbon without having to just rip it, even though I just still like to do my shots. It's a lot easier because someone doesn't have to keep on giving me the drink with a straw.
It's just like, just give me a shot. Let's
go. Can you give me a sip? Can you give me a sip?
Oh, no, trust me. I hear in my sleep, I need a sip. I need a sip and fries.
Give me a French fry. Let me get a fry.
Let me get a fry. Let me get a fry. That's what I hear in my sleep.
Next business, I'm going to create the LeGrand French fries.
All right, slow down. Let's go back to the
LeGrand French fries. All right. So then we can land on this category because we're like, you know what? We both enjoy it. I know you enjoy the bourbon, but it fits me. It's tough. It's gritty. It fits us both, that Jersey toughness that we love to emulate. And then also it's something that it takes time and patience to make, as you see sitting right here. You can't make bourbon overnight. It takes at least 2 years in American charred oak barrels to make. And then as it just gets better and better and better over time. And that's kind of like my recovery. I can't tell you when I'm going to walk again one day, but I know I'm getting better and better and better as the years go on. So that's how we landed on this category. And as you can see, with our bourbon here, we have 2 years old, 4 years old, and 7 years old. So you can see it's getting nice and dark and very tasty.
Nice. So, and your name is on the bottle, so it's pretty cool. And I knew when we went to Kentucky, you got to see all those bottles on the line with your name come on it. But let's share with the audience your initial idea of what name you wanted.
I was coming up with a few different names, and obviously being in a wheelchair, I was trying to come up with something cool that fit that and said Wheels Whiskey.
And he sent me like an AI version of like Wheels Whiskey bottle.
Had a bottle, and then Brian shut that shit down.
Yeah,
he was like, no. I was like, damn, bro, I thought that was a cool idea. He goes, no, we're putting your name on that bottle, just like the other brands out there, the Jim Beams, Elijah Craig's of the world, Maker's Mark, all those bottles. Like, you're putting your name on it. Hopefully when we're no longer here on this earth and long gone, people will still be able to share your story like they are with the Jack Daniels of the world and being able to.
And what better way to do it over a glass of bourbon?
And I will pat myself on the back. I got a nice last name too. LeGrand Pops.
It is pop. We even had to do there was some trademark stuff that we had to do as well. There's some stuff in France.
People over there.
There's some cognac in France, but whatever. But yeah, your name is it's a great name. We put the axes on there for keep chopping, as like people can't see
one for
it.
keep chopping and one for Brian Axelrod.
Exactly. So what? So now you've been in the business. We've been doing this for we launched about over 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Been through the process 3. But what's walk everyone through your learnings in the business, because I've been doing this my whole life, so I know that it's a crazy ass world out there.
I learned sometimes your friends aren't your friends, and I learned sometimes the most random people will show you the most love that there is,
which is wild, right? It's
actually wild where you can reach out to a friend that you know, that you go to their place, you support them, and you'd be like, oh yeah, maybe we can do something, and then you're like, how come we're not doing anything here? Like this should be a home run for the both of us. Like we both can make money out of this, and then you don't. Then you reach out to somebody randomly, just a random account on Instagram, say, hey, I'm Eric LeGrand. I would love to speak to you about my bourbon that I've been working with. And they're like, yeah, let's get by. And then you're on a cocktail menu. You're donating money to your foundation. And you don't know this person from Adam. And they just they know the story. They learn the story and they want to get behind you and support you. You come to their establishment. They, like you said, you see me in person, they roll in. You're like, you know what? I want to get behind that, man. And you're just like, wow. I don't know that person or anyone. Meanwhile, I know this person for the past 5 years, and there's no support. So but I will say, there are all friends that do support too, and there's a lot of local love around.
Yeah, we got a good core base now, doing this for 2 years, of places that have shown love. Some from day one, some that you've DM'd, DM'd maybe a week ago, and all of a sudden, all right, no problem, we're throwing you on the menu. So overall, it's great. Listen, it's anything. It's business. No one owes us a damn thing.
You've taught me a lot with the business too. Like people pay to be on menus, and being on a small brand, we're not.
Some brands might not play by the rules, and
exactly. I get it. It's sometimes a dark, shady business, but that's why you put on your boots, you go to work. But
overall, right, you're noticing it's an awesome business because you get to actually go out and deal with real people, talk to people, meet people. And then
hear their stories too.
Yeah, and then you're out and about. Right, you've seen a ton of people like, hey, I started with one bar, or like my family member owned. I mean, everyone's got their own story of how they ended up at this restaurant, bar, or whatever it might be, whether it be big or small. But everyone's got their story as well.
And a lot of times people think that we have this big sales team, man. Tell people all the time, it's just you and I.
Yeah, it's just me. Yeah,
it's just you and I doing this. And when people say they go door to door, obviously being in my situation, I can't go door to door to restaurant to every liquor store there is out there. So what do? I use the power of social media, and I get on my phone and I literally will Google, liquor stores in whatever county it is in New Jersey, and we'll call store by store by store, selling the brand, selling the story. So it's literally, we are putting our, grabbing our hat and shovel pan, whatever you want to say, and we're going to work.
Yeah, we've been, listen, that's what it is. It's just, my biggest fear sometimes is like when you're like, oh yeah, this place said, like we love the support, but can you bring it over and try it? Because that's like, okay, who's going to do that? It's going to be me.
That's the hardest.
We have we have a good distributor partner, but it's like it's not. They have a million other brands too. So
those are the hard ones when they want to try, which it's understandable.
It makes sense.
Want to try it.
Yeah,
but it's just like, damn, how are we going to do? I can't send Brian here, all over the place to try.
But we'll figure it out. Over time, we'll get that sales team. We talked about the Kentucky trip, or I mentioned it a minute ago, but like walk people through that trip of like, one, how you got there, and two, how amazing it was to see all these bottles with your name on it in boxes, and meeting those people down at Bardstown. So we got to shout out our partners. Brindiamo Group has been amazing to us. And then the Bardstown Distillery, the people there are incredible. Just the best.
So I'll start with the bad, the ugly first. So I'm now an expert on airplanes. I know how I can travel and what I can't get on, what I can get on. So a lot of people see me, like Brian says, here, there, and the other, but don't know the backstory. When it comes to traveling in a wheelchair, I literally have my nurses come in at whatever time. We fly out at 7, 8, 9 a.m. in the morning. They were in at 3, 4 a.m. in the morning to get me up.
You got to travel with a nurse.
I got to travel with at least one nurse and at least 2 friends to be able to lift me up out of my chair to get into the bed and out of the bed. People don't realize that. Like, I'm just not popping into bed. No, I need to get lifted. I can't have my one lady nurse just throw me over and then throw me. It's just impossible.
Compare your bed at home to a hotel bed.
So my bed at home, I sleep on an air mattress that rotates me every 45 minutes to the left, to the middle, to the right, because with the spinal cord injury, you lay in one position too long, or on a regular mattress, you develop pressure sores. So I have to be extra precaution. So when I travel, I literally bring something you fill up with air. It's like you're sleeping on an air
I didn't know
phone thing.
Yeah.
Hey, my nurse comes in, she pumps it all up, puts it under the bed sheet. That way I'm not laying directly on the bed for all those hours.
And nurse, you get a room for your nurse, connecting room.
Connecting, adjoining room with my nurse.
And you need something, you just scream.
Clip time! Yeah, and she goes there. So traveling now too. So going to Louisville, all the flights from Newark, JFK, LaGuardia, and Philly, going to Louisville, Kentucky, where 737 planes are smaller. That's your basic plane, 737. Well, my wheelchair doesn't fit in the cargo hold of a 737. It's too big. Doesn't get in there. So I need an Airbus 319, an Airbus 320, or anything above like a 757, 777, although I can get my chair on those. So the only flights around was flying into Nashville. So we flew into Nashville. Shout out to my partners on my other podcast, a couple of lead podcasts, Mobility Works. They take great care of me every time I travel.
Right,
they have a van ready for me to where I go. So I call them up. I'm like, I'm traveling but I'm flying into Nashville. I need to rent a van for the next 3 days. We got you. We'll have it at the airport for you. I'm like, that's awesome, you know. So they've been incredible. So we literally flew into Nashville. There was me, you, my nurse, and it was Evan, Drew, and Dilio. Yeah. So yeah, there was a bunch of us. So we stuffed into my van and we drove the.
This was an easy trip to get volunteers for.
Yeah, of course, that one was a very easy trip. So we drove for 2.5 hours to Louisville, stayed in downtown Louisville. God bless that town. They need some help. The hotel's beautiful, but man, some people are struggling.
Streets are
struggling out there. I felt bad for the people, man. They're going through it. But the next, we went out to dinner that night with one of the places in Louisville that carry our product, which was
North of Bourbon.
Met Shout out distributors out there that are helping distribute our brand out there. So then the next day we got up and went to Kentucky in the morning and
Bardstown.
We got to down to Bardstown, and man, that distillery was incredible. I think it was built in 2017, so it's very modern.
One of the newer ones.
They are blowing up, and the stuff that they're doing there, meeting with Mark Irwin, the CEO, and then their whole team, watching that bottling line go down, it was incredible. But first off, we got there, it was like 10 a.m. in the morning, and they're like, here's your 4-year-old bourbon that we're about to bottle. You want to try something? Like, sure.
They're drinking bourbon at 10 a.m.
There we go.
That's normal for Kentucky.
That's the 8 April. Here's your 104 now. You want to try that? But here we go. Take that down. Oh, you want to try the White Dog one too before we barrel it? Here we go. Take that. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna be ripped before 12 o'clock. But tell you what, that's how you do it out there. And then we got to go to the Rick House. And while I was ventured off in the Rick House, I know the boys were in the back. They said that they were getting shot straight out the barrel, and they were like, we gotta pace ourselves. It's gonna be a long day.
They were drinking that cast strength stuff, so it was you get to try. It's cool. It's cool to try something straight out of the barrel.
It was an incredible experience. They're incredible partners. We were there for about 8 hours.
They had a great restaurant there too.
Yeah, that restaurant there, that lunch. I made it sit outside when it was 90 degrees.
Yeah, that was.
I messed up. We had a table inside, but it was chilly. The air was blasted. I'm like, let's go outside and have lunch. Little did I know we were all gonna be dying.
I mean, it was not a cloud in the sky. People were getting roasted. We're trying to hide under the roast. Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't be in the sun.
I got blackish shit out there, but hey, I was trying to just enjoy the weather.
But it was a good. That's an awesome spot. So I'm glad you got to see that and just see how the process is done. Meet all the people down there, because it isn't. I've been down a ton of times, but it's not just easy for you to get down there. So before we get into coming out, what's next? We have something big about to come out.
Oh yeah.
Talk about how cool it is to have the bourbon now associated, being a proud partner of Rutgers Athletics.
Yeah, so Rutgers Athletics, as you guys all know, is near and dear to my heart, being a football player there. And just all the support from the community, as I mentioned earlier, from the athletic department all the way to just the university. There's 400,000 living alumni, Rutgers alumni. So we're all over the place. Everywhere I travel, whether it's Massachusetts, it's California, Vegas, for somebody always knows somebody. Either they went to Rutgers, or a family member went to Rutgers, or a friend, which is actually pretty damn cool to see. And I wear that proudly. And we decided that when we did this deal, we're like, we got to get Rutgers involved somehow. We got to be doing something with that partnership. And we reached out to their team, which is now Samco. We said we want to be a liquor partner, which is something they haven't done. They didn't do spirits. I know they've done beer, I believe, with Miller Lite, but they've never done spirits. Yeah. So we said we want to become a proud partner of Rutgers Athletics. And I guess they made the calls to people that they need to do to, and we became, and for the 2023 season, we were the proud partner of Rutgers Athletics. We did that for 2 years, and now we just re-signed our contract.
Now we got billboards saying it.
We got billboards saying it.
Your face on the turnpike.
Yeah, and we obviously we got some stuff coming out further down the road that maybe we'll get into, but Yeah, we were. It's proud to say that we're the proud partners of Rutgers Athletics, and being able to go to games, see our signage
And
on the
now when you're at
jumbotron
games,
and
what are
all that.
people yelling at you and what are people saying?
Ah,
It's not the coffee
it's
anymore.
not the goal. Eric, tried your bourbon.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff, man. Can't wait to get more. And then last year I did.
People shouting from the top.
At my walk to believe, we changed it up where we did it at a Rutgers game last year. And me being me, when I get the microphone in front of me, Coach Yano told me he's such an opportunist. And
Yeah,
I got the microphone.
famous halftime speech.
I got on at halftime and I said I want to start a new Rutgers football tradition. At every game, we need to have a Rutgers LeGrand whiskey bottle at all the tailgates, and they need to do a shot either before they go in or after they.
I mean, if you're tailgating at a Rutgers game and there is adult beverages involved, because not everyone indulges, but if you are indulging in adult beverages, you got to have a bottle of LeGrand.
You got to have.
What are you doing? Like, that's just a no-brainer, right?
So I called everyone out, and at that point, remember, for the rest of the season, people were yelling, running up to me, showing their bottle, just telling me that they just had a shot, which was
it's cool to see the trend. It's growing, which is the past few years, and I'm even looking forward to this upcoming season.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, all right, let's before we wrap our first episode up, let's get into what's next, because by the time this drops, we're going to have a new baby. We're going to have a number 3.
We'll have number 3, and it'll be out. We're dropping this here the day after it comes out. So, as you see our lineup here, we started off with our everyday small batch bourbon at the 88 proof that really launched this brand. That's our baby. That launched the brand.
That's the everyday bourbon.
Then in last November, the Blue Label, we launched our first single barrel at 104 proof. We played it off of my number 52, so 52% alcohol and 104 proof. So that one was
it's been a big success. We're down to probably maybe online, maybe 30 bottles left. There's not. This one's going to go away and it's done.
It's done. Forever. It's going to be done forever. You might.
That's a great product.
Stores. But that one is a sleeper product where people that actually got that, like, wow, this.
Yeah, people love it. I mean, everything we do is great. That one being limited edition, we focus on it being so good just because you're not going to be able to. It's gone. This will be here forever.
And then now, and it's always funny. We always try these products at my coffee shop. Yeah. We tried the 88 proof when we first got them from Ridiama and Bardstown and Green River. And then this one we were at the coffee shop as well, where we tried this new now where we're coming out with our cash strength, 136.4 proof.
Damn.
You see this. It's going to put some hair on your chest, but I'll tell you what, it's smooth as hell. It's 7 years old compared to 2.5 and 4 years. So you can see it's darker because it's been aging in those barrels a little bit longer. We're only making 145 bottles that we're going to be selling online. And that's it.
Online only. So this won't even show up in a store.
Exactly. Once it's gone, it's gone. So we really want to make this very rare, limited edition, 1 barrel that we only made of this. And we really want people to enjoy it. This is how you grow the brand. And this is another reason why we pick bourbon, because of all the different categories and where you can, do these limited drops.
So where can someone find this limited edition bottle?
Got to go to ericlegrandwhiskey.com, and we'll make sure that we can mail it to all the states that allow you to ship spirits to. You can have it delivered to your front door. So if you know somebody that likes bourbon, you enjoy bourbon, especially that high proof bourbon, do not sleep on this bottle. Get one of these, 145 of them only. So I got to make sure I stock up on my own, because I can't even get more of it, which is pretty crazy. So I got to make sure I stock up on my own and make sure we have it, but make sure you get yours too. I'm telling you, you don't want to sleep on this product. And we made sure that we are putting up a quality product. Yes, my name is on it, so people will support the beginning, but if you don't have good juice, they're not coming back. And we make sure, Brian definitely made sure we got good juice. So don't sleep on it. Go to ericlegrandwhiskey.com and get your bottle today.
I love it. So, all right, let's wrap up number 1. I think we did okay. Now we'll as we go forward, we'll probably get more into talking shit and just going back and forth and talking about what happened within the past, maybe the past weeks, the past months, and just the good, the bad, and the not ugly, because overall,
I'm getting ugly too. The ugly stuff I'm diving into. People need to hear the ugly.
All right, well, let's do it. So, all right, listen, that's episode number 1.
Episode number 1 done of Building LeGrand. I hope you guys enjoy, and Brian and I will be back again soon.